Hey dudes, welcome to Splat from the Past, the only 80s themed horror and sci-fi show where things can get totally radical. Now today, I will be welcoming one of the greatest exploitation directors of all time, Jim Wynorski. Yes, the man who brought us Chopping Mall, and The Return of Swamp Thing, and Hard to Kill, and Against the Law, and Hard Bounty, and so many other great movies. Unfortunately, I only have 15 minutes with him, so only a couple of those movies will be brought up. And I'm going to have him on the show today. I'm so fucking excited. He is one of the greats. We've been Facebook friends for a couple years now, and finally get to interview him. Also, I'd like to bring up a couple of things. On Monday and Tuesday, several past guests had birthdays, and I should have mentioned them yesterday when I interviewed Terry Bolo, but I didn't think of it. On Monday, it was the birthdays of Laurie Jacobson, Catherine Mary Stewart, and Lois Bromfield, two very favorite frequent guests. Happy birthday, ladies. And Tuesday was Diane Franklin's daughter, Olivia De Laurentiis' birthday. Happy birthday, Olivia. And I also would like to bring up, today is April 24th, a very significant day, because on April 24th, 1987, I taped Back to the Future and The Heavenly Kid on this VHS tape. You've probably heard me talk about it many times on the show. It was The Shining originally, and I taped it over for both of these movies, and I still have the VHS to this day. It's a Kodak tape, and I taped over The Shining, though. I taped over The Shining, Back to the Future's on there, but then I taped over The Heavenly Kid, which was a really dumb mistake, and taped over a bunch of other stuff as well. And that tape is very special to me. That's a tape I'll have for the rest of my life because it's very special to me. So happy April 24th. And one last thing I'd like to bring up, another past guest, Sharon Sharth, has been in a medical-induced coma since April 1st. I had messaged her like a couple of days before asking her if her book was coming out yet and if she wanted to come back on to talk and promote it, and I never heard from her. And I went on her Facebook page today and found out that she's in that coma, and I don't know the current status. Nothing has been written yet on Facebook, but I hope, heaven forbid, she's all right. And hopefully she is. So, Sharon, if you're out there, I hope you make it. So anyways, here's my interview with Jim Wynorski.
There you are.
What's up, Jim?
I don't know. What's happening?
Oh, nothing much, Jim. Thank you so much. It's such an honor, you know. I mean, you know I'm your biggest fan.
Oh, shut up. Just ask me some questions. I'll give you tell you some lies, and we'll go on with things, okay?
Okay.
What do you need to know?
Okay. So, do you remember the first movie you saw that made you say to yourself, I want to make movies?
No. But I remember overall what made me want to make movies was not just one movie, but when I was a kid in New York City, we had a lot of local stations.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great market for movies.
Mm-hmm.
And they ran everything. Okay? I mean, between the local channels and the independent channels, we saw a lot of stuff. I did, actually. And I was, I loved it all. Just like you do. I like the horror movies. I like the sci-fi movies. And all the films from the 50s played in the 60s when I was growing up. Plus, I had Outer Limits, I had Twilight Zone.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I couldn't think of a better era to grow up in.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody, has, they're locked into their own time. But I was thrilled to have all those great movies and TV shows and local channels to see 50s movies on. So I grew up watching them all, and I think it just kind of rubbed off on me that I wanted to do it. I didn't know it exactly then, but as I got into college, I started to take filmmaking courses, which I got thrown out of. They asked me to leave. They said I didn't know I had to aptitude for it. So yeah, I swear to God, and they just said, it would be better if you didn't take this course next semester. And I said, okay, thanks. And anyway, but I still continued, and I started making commercials in New York for some local, outlets and stores. And then I got the bug to come out to California and see if I could, strike it poor. I did it. I had a good time. And I've had a good time.
Yes, according to IMDb, you've been involved with over 100+ movies, which is a record only rivaled by John Ford and your buddies David Dakota and Fred Olen Ray.
Well, I think it's 170.
Wow. 170.
I checked. Between writing, producing, and directing, and ghosting, I think I've been involved with 170 movies.
Nice.
I couldn't name them all. But I could name a lot of them.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's get into a couple of those. One of my favorites, of course, is Chopping Mall, and that's probably your most popular amongst horror and sci-fi fans. It seems to me that you guys were... Yeah, it seems to me that you guys were not only paying homage to Roger's early movies, but you were also sending up the teen horror movies from that time as well.
I went into Chopping Mall thinking, I've seen every fucking movie about killers that has come out in the last 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Between 1979 and at the time I started shooting Chopping Mall, I think there'd been a slasher a week coming out. And, or every 2 weeks there'd be some new slasher movie in the theaters. And I said, if I'm going to do one of these, which I wanted to do, I didn't want to do it like the others. So when Vestron came to me and said, actually they came to Julie Corman, but they ultimately came to me and said, we want to film about a killer in a mall. And it had already been The Phantom of the Mall,
mm-hmm.
which I'd seen and didn't care for. So Steve Mitchell and I, we wrote a script based on an old movie called GOG, G-O-G, which had been an Ivan Tours programmer
mm-hmm.
in 3D from the 50s. And I'd known it as a black and white experience because I didn't have color TV. But it was about a scientific laboratory 7 stories underground
mm-hmm.
that was controlled by a computer that had these 2 robots running around on tank treads. And a Russian spaceship comes over the base and sends down signals to the computer to screw things up. And that was the basis for Chopping Mall. I said, look, the scientific base goes down 7 levels. Our mall goes up 3 levels. And there's a a roof. So we have a way of, making the computer go crazy. We can have the robots go crazy. And I didn't want everybody to just run from the monsters.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted them to fight back. Which I always said, any sane person who's being chased by a killer who can't get away is going to turn and face the problems. So that's how Chopping Mall came to be.
How did the Return of Swamp Thing come to you?
I don't remember. I think I got a call from the people that were going to make it, and they asked me if I'd be interested, and of course I said yes. And I said the only thing I would definitely want to change is the costume, which I did not like from the first film.
Mm-hmm.
And they said that would be fine. So they brought me on board, and we went and made it. I had a good time.
Mm-hmm.
I was hanging out with Heather Locklear every day. I was hanging out with Sarah Douglas. And I was hanging out with Monique Gabrielle, who was my girlfriend at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a hell of a time.
Yeah, how did you find Ace Mask?
Ace Mask was a friend of a friend. And I put him in a lot of my, early movies.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's in Big Bad Mama. I don't know where. He's in a lot of films.
Yeah, Chopping Mall. Yeah.
And then from one period to another, and then he, I kept wanting to use him, but he got a new agent, and the agent said, Mr. Mask is only doing lead roles. And I just said, okay, so long, Ace. And of course, no lead roles came to him, and his agent, I'm sure is gone by now. And I'd given him all kinds of parts, and I was just a little, miffed that he would turn me down.
Yeah.
Especially since I kind of built his career up. So that's how that ended, and I haven't worked with him since the '80s, as I recall. But he was there a lot. He's in Out of This Earth. He's in Return of Swamp Thing. I think he's in Transylvania Twist. He's in a lot of my movies.
Yeah. Transylvania Twist was the next one I wanted to bring up. You got any great stories about Robert Vaughn or Howard Morris?
Robert Vaughn I was a big fan of Robert Vaughn because of The Man from U.N.C.L.E., which was my favorite show.
Right.
When I was a kid. And I wanted to work with him. So I offered him that role. First I offered that role to Christopher Lee first.
Mm-hmm.
And he should have taken it, but he didn't. He said he was busy with something else. And I was very disappointed. So when I got disappointed, I said, okay, I'm going to offer it to the guy I've always wanted to work with, Robert Vaughn. And he snapped it up and did a great job. And Howard Morris I'd enjoyed a lot on the Andy Griffith Show.
Mm-hmm.
So I called him, and he was happy to do it. By that time, a lot of these actors, not many people were calling them.
Yeah.
They were hits still on TV because of Andy Griffith's show. But Howard Morris had begun, I think, with Sid Caesar.
Right.
And that era had, disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
And then he got his, I forgot the character he played on Andy Griffith's show, but he was that hillbilly guy.
Yeah.
Okay? And he'd also become a director. So when I called him out of the blue. I said, Howard, I love you. I love you. Can you come and do this part? He said, send me the script. I sent him the script. He said, yeah, I'll do this. It sounds And it was. And I had Steve Franken. I had a lot of actors coming through just little bit parts in that. Clement von Frankenstein is in it.
Yeah.
Steve Franken, Angus Scrimm. That was a lot of fun to make. And Bob Vaughn, I used to kid him because I would bring every time he came to set, because he was kind of a stiff, and unlike the character that he played in Man from U.N.C.L.E. and other films, and I just felt he was kind of still had a couple walls up. So every time he came, I would introduce him by putting one of his films in between Robert and Vaughn. And I said, Robert, Magnificent Sevenfold, ladies and gentlemen. And then I got a little esoteric, and I went, hey, Robert, unwed mother Vaughn, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Robert, Ten Commandments Vaughn. I think he's in the film for about 2 seconds, okay?
Yeah.
And it was his first film. So, and then there's a scene in the movie where he plays a song on an old 78, and I actually made a vinyl record of the Man from U.N.C.L.E. theme. So when he put that record on, everybody heard the Man from U.N.C.L.E. theme, and he got a big laugh out of that.
Oh, man. That's great. Now, these
He's a nice guy, a really nice guy.
He seemed like it. Now, these movies, they were all made during the VHS boom of the late 80s, early 90s, which you and Fred and David were all part of. When VHS kind of became antiquated, did you think to yourself, I'm ruined, my career's over?
No, not at all. I mean, I was making 6 films. I think in 91 I made 6 films in one 12-month period.
Mm.
So I was, I said, something's going to replace VHS. And it was DVD. And you have to stay in business, change with the times. So, we still were making movies, except it was a new format. And, a couple of years ago when but when DVDs started to die out, I looked at the market and I said, well, what's still selling? And it was family movies, which is why I've gone into family movies. And now horror is coming back. Yep. So I continue to try to make what the people want. And I give it to them on the formats that they now want to be part of, like, streaming.
Mm-hmm. Like you've done the doggone movies.
I feel it's a loss that I'm not shooting 35 anymore. I feel it's a loss that people now want to watch on their phones. Mm-hmm. But you have to bend with the wind in order to keep abreast of what's popular and keep making people happy.
Mm-hmm. Do you think you'll ever make another horror sci-fi movie again?
I don't know. It depends on the wheel. The wheel turns. Okay? Mm-hmm. And sometimes, it depends on what comes back next. Horror films, low-budget horror films are not selling at all right now. It has to be high-budget, and it has to be theatrically and, produced. And they cost money.
Right.
I mean, there's 110 people out today making some made-for-video piece of shit about, 5 girls in a haunted house with a slasher.
Yeah.
Okay? And not making it. I'm making it for a fraction of what I normally would make a movie for.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think it might sell. Because it's about MoMA. And MoMA's a big thing right now. And if I catch that wave, and I just put it on Amazon, and I just charge $5.99 for it, I might make a bundle. And if I don't, I haven't spent a bundle, so it'll be a wash. But if it goes through the roof, all's good.
Mm-hmm. I hope you do make another horror and sci-fi movie. I mean that, Jim.
Well, the next two things up are this Momo Strikes Back, which is a comedy horror with hot chicks, which I'm adept at.
Yeah.
And then the next one after that is a Western.
Nice.
There's a Western seems to be selling. So.
Yeah, like when you do it.
If somebody comes along with a horror film and says, "Jim, I'd love you to direct it," of course I'll do it. So, that could happen. I get emails all the time from people who say they have money to make a movie, and then when it comes time to write me a check, they don't.
Mm-hmm.
So I personally, and this has been happening for my entire career. People saying, we have money to make a movie, and they don't show up with a check. But I go out and I hit up as many people as I can, and see what happens.
Aside from those two movies you just mentioned, do you have any other things you'd like to plug?
Just my kid movies, which are not. I mean, they're aimed at every age.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't make them specifically for kids. I would consider them like Warner Brothers cartoons. Kids can watch them and enjoy them. Adults can watch them and enjoy them for different reasons. And I try to make them, G-rated. In fact, they are G-rated, but I try to put a lot of humor in them.
Mm-hmm.
Adult humor that I can get by kids. And they play well. And I'm doing very well with them. And they're on streaming services, they're on DVD, and they're everywhere, which I really like. I wish I could, churn out more of them, but, right now there's 3 of them, and they're all doing well, and they're coming out as a package. So there's all kinds of stuff going on.
Nice. Well, Jim, I appreciate your time, and I'm glad I finally got to meet you at Dark Delicacies a couple weeks ago.
Hey, it was fun. So anyway, is this going to be on a podcast?
Yes, I'm going to upload it really shortly.
All right, well, send me a link.
I sure will. I'll be tagging on Facebook.
Tag me, and so people can listen to it.
Awesome.
And it was fun talking with you, Tom. And I wish you luck with your future podcast. Okay?
Thank you, sir. You have yourself a great day.
I will. You too. Bye now.
Bye now. Well, there you have it. Jim Wynorski. Ain't he a cool dude? Thank you so much, Jim. I'm so glad that we got to finally talk. And meeting you a couple weeks ago at Dark Delicacies was pretty cool. I got that autographed Killbot in my binder book. That's so cool. If you like this video, everyone, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Add me as a friend on Facebook. Join my Tommy Kovac comedian page on Facebook. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram and all that fun stuff. Well, that's all the time we have this week on Splat from the Past. Until next time, this is Tommy Throwback Kovac saying, there's no shame in living in the past, because the present sucks. Fuck the fuchsia, it's Wednesday. Later, dudes.